Hey, Rich. This is WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM. And we have with us Rich Willey. He is a jazz trumpeter, jazz trombonist, and many other talents as well. How are you, Rich?
I am remarkable. How are you doing, Miss DJ?
Very, very well. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, you have been in many, many parts of the country and playing jazz. And how did this all start?
Oh boy, well, I started playing trumpet in sixth grade.
Okay. Well, why trumpet? Why not like that what do you call that the little yeah, little like a tonade. I don't know what they call it. That the kids play, right? When they
Oh, oh
start.
no, the recorder?
Yes.
No, no, I didn't do that.
Okay.
Actually, I started on drums because
Wow.
I made 100 on the music aptitude test, and the only people who could play drums were people who made 100. So I said I have to play drums. And after a year and a half, all my best friends were playing melodies on their trumpets, and I didn't want to play drums anymore. I wanted to play trumpet, so that's how that happened.
Wow. How did you make the 100 aptitude? Who tutored you, or was it an innate ability?
So I have an uncle who, well, he's deceased. He was just an absolute genius, pianist, organist, musician, and both of my sisters were concert pianists.
Oh,
They're twins. They're 6 years older than me. My father's mother played many instruments, uh, and my father couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. My mother sat down and played piano sometimes, and I had an older brother. He's also deceased. He played clarinet and saxophone and flute. So I was kind of surrounded by people who played instruments, so it wasn't unusual. So, and I just listened to a lot of great music growing up. I guess my ear training was it just sort of happened naturally.
wow.
I can't explain it.
Did you sit in on practices with your family members, or did they even take you under their wing and show you a little bit of what they're doing, like how to read the music?
Well, since my sisters were 6 years older than me, as a little boy, I heard them practicing, and I heard a bunch of great piano classics, Chopin. I can't even name all the composers, but they played all this great stuff. So my ears were full of music that they played as when I was a young child. So, and when I started practicing, you know what? I didn't like to practice. I was not a good practicer as a kid.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Oh well.
you were a great listener, and then did you play by ear in the beginning?
Actually, no. I learned how to play by reading music. It wasn't until after I graduated from high school that I got interested in trying to learn how to improvise.
Wow. And then when you read music, how old were you when you learned music theory?
I'm still learning.
Well, I needed a tutor too when I was learning music theory. I wanted to learn it, but oh, I had my tutor. I passed the class, but it's hard.
What's your instrument?
Voice.
Voice, okay.
Yes.
Did you sing the Conconi solfege or what's that stuff?
Opera?
Conconi vocalises?
Oh,
Giuseppe Conconi vocalises?
no, I didn't sing any opera. I did do a lot of warm-ups, but it's usually I started with chorus. I don't know if you know him. My teacher is well, he's at the Wright College. It was Richard Gersten, and he sings like Robert Goulet. So I was
Oh
very
wow.
yes,
I love Robert Goulet.
me too.
Yeah. The devil was in your eyes. Whatever. Da 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 da.
Yeah,
Those little white lies. Oh man, I love that guy.
right. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful voice.
Mhm.
So, did you sing alto or soprano?
Soprano. At first, I thought that I was an alto, but then I realized that when I sang high, it was easier to get all the tones out. But what
Hmm.
about with your instruments? How did you find what your voice was in your instruments?
Uh, okay. So I played trumpet all the way through
Yes.
junior high school, high school. tried to go to college once, and then I joined the Army and I played in an Army band, the 24th Infantry Division Band in Fort Stewart, Georgia, which
Wow.
means that I went through the Navy School of Music in Norfolk, Virginia. And when I got
What is
out,
that? What is that like? Do you have any idea if that's like a regular music school or is there?
there's nothing regular about the Navy School of Music.
That's it.
But actually, it was there that I learned the importance of practicing daily. That
Mhm,
was the first time in my life that I practiced diligently and daily. And they required you to put your ID card in the window of the practice room, and they would come around and record who was practicing.
mhm.
And after a couple of days, I found that I couldn't practice for them. I had to practice for me. So I took a big chance. I never put my card in the window, so they didn't think I practiced. So when it was time for my audition to get out of there, if I had done a bad audition, they would have put me in the infantry. So luckily for me, I had a very good audition. So yeah, but yeah, I couldn't practice for somebody else. I had to practice for me.
Wow. So what do you mean by practicing for somebody else? Just to have the ID card there to let them peek in and see if you're practicing, or do they actually go in and listen to how you're practicing and then give advice?
No, they would go around and just check off names, and if I don't think they cared if you were actually practicing. They would just come and write down the names on the cards.
Oh,
Because I know when I put the card in my window, I'm thinking, okay, I'm supposed to be here for an hour because they expect me to be here for an hour, and I just couldn't get anything done. I don't know. I'm funny that way. I have to do things for me and not for somebody else when it comes to, practicing music.
mm. So what was that room like? Was it just like a room for one?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, they were dinky little, yeah, just these big hallways full of these tiny rooms. I guess some of the rooms had pianos, so they were bigger. But
mm.
yeah, it was not the optimal practice space either. So,
Well then where did you practice? You were in the Navy, right? And then where did you find space to practice?
well, I was actually in the Army.
I'm
Uh,
sorry.
well, I had a teacher, and he introduced me to stuff that I had when I grew up. My first teacher was a clarinet player.
Hmm.
He was a great musician, but he was a clarinet player, so he didn't know about teaching trumpet. So when I got to the Navy School I was actually in the Army element of the Navy School of Music. So
Oh.
they introduced me to the Clark's Technical Studies, to Arbon's Conservatory Method of Trumpet, things like that. And yeah, it was all new to me. I had not ever practiced that stuff.
So, when you played in the band, you had to be in lockstep with your fellow trumpeters, right? Everybody had to. Was that hard?
I was only locked up once, and it's because I broke the law. I'm kidding. Um, no, okay, so the interesting thing that I found out, see, I learned in the Army there's a difference between a musician and an instrumentalist. There was a lot of people in the band that I was not in a special band. It was not a one of these premier bands that like the Army, the Airmen of Note or the Army Blues or the Jazz Ambassadors. It was not one of those. It was just an Army band. When I got there, I was the 16th member, and they did not care about musical excellence. All they cared about is that you could put the right end of the horn to your face and play marches. You know what I mean? So it took a lot for me to stay focused on becoming a better musician because basically they didn't care if I got better. They really didn't. So it was up to me. Yeah. The 24th Infantry Division Band.
Mhm.
I mean, we played parades, we played passing reviews. Uh, we were we were great janitors. We did a lot of janitor work. Yeah. Oh yeah, we were fantastic janitors. So, but you know what? Those years, I'm so grateful for those now because I learned I got discipline really for the first time in my life. I got some serious discipline, and yeah, I'm so grateful that I always thought it was a mistake that I joined. Like in the second or third day of basic training, I said, "Oh no, I made a mistake," and I was counting my days. I had a 3-year enlistment, so I said, 904 whatever many days left to go. I counted my days all the way through, and today I'm really grateful that I had that experience. It was really good for me. I didn't know it at the time. I was young. I was stupid.
What about your fellow cadets and the fellow musicians? have you stayed in touch? Have any of them gone on to playing the way that you are playing?
Uh, I have kept in touch with maybe five, six. One guy, Ben Mauger, he plays mostly cornet. He decided to specialize in traditional jazz. So he's around the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area. And yeah, he works a lot as a you're not supposed to say Dixieland jazz player anymore, but that's basically what he does. He
Mm.
loves Louis Armstrong. He can channel Louis Armstrong and just sound fantastic.
Oh.
So he kept going. Pretty much, I can't think.
Did you and he ever play together?
Yes, we he in fact when I started playing tuba, he hired me to play on tuba. Uh, and years ago when I lived in Philadelphia, he brought me over to Harrisburg to play some gigs. And yeah, we got to play some. But
Yeah.
it's been a while. Yeah, I haven't played for maybe in 2 years now.
Mm.
Yeah.
So so you got out of the Navy school, and then what you do? Did you go back into music right away? What you do?
I wasn't sure what to do, and I joined a musicians union. And a couple
Oh,
of days later, somebody called them looking for a trumpet player to go on this road band. And it was not a union job. It was just some guys who called the union looking for a trumpet player. So I got this job playing with a band called Avalanche. They were well, it was the disco era. It was 1977, and we put the Chitlin Circuit, the Boogie Belt is what we called it. The Southeast. We played all these places, and we played disco and funk, and yeah, it was not a posh gig. There was nothing glamorous about it whatsoever. Uh, but it kept me playing. And after that, I decided I want to. Yeah, okay. There was one guy in the army, Mark Weigel, excellent trumpet player. I think he has some medical problems and he can't play anymore. But he was a heavy jazz fan, and he introduced me to Clark Terry, Bob Brookmeyer. I was already familiar with Charlie Parker. Charlie Parker was already my favorite jazz player, but he introduced me to a lot of trumpet players who I was not familiar with. Um, Chet Baker, who I'd never heard of, Clifford Brown, who I love Clifford Brown, Kenny Dorham, guys like that. So when I got out of the army, I wanted to learn how to play jazz because I had no idea really how to improvise jazz. And so after I was on tour with this band, I applied to go to North Texas State University, and I started there in the fall of '78. So I was at North Texas from '78 to '81, and that was a good experience for me. I had a lot of embouchure problems. That's kind of the story of my life, uh, injuries and my lips and stuff.
oh
But
no.
North Texas was a great environment. I was around so many fantastic players. People you heard of. Conrad Herwig, he was a friend of mine. He's doing really well now.
Mm.
Uh, Bob Belden, Jim Snydero, Craig Handy. Uh, uh, there's a whole bunch of guys that I was in school with, and they were a big inspiration to me. So I'm really grateful that I went there, even though I left with my tail between my legs because I couldn't play a trumpet anymore. I beat my lips up,
Oh,
injured myself. Yeah, I was a big dummy.
hmm. Is that how you started playing trombone instead?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
Yes.
let's get back to the trumpet. What kind of injury did you learn how to avoid that injury afterwards when you started playing again?
No.
There's no way.
I'm making fun of myself because I hate talking about it because I was such a idiot. But without going into great detail, uh, I had a wound on the outside that wouldn't heal, and I
Oh,
started putting Anbesol on it so I could play without it hurting.
mhm.
And then the next thing you know, I started having problems from my teeth cutting on the inside.
Oh,
So I pretty much had injury on the outside and on the inside. It just kept getting worse because I was around all these great players. I
right.
just wanted to get better. And the more I played, the more I hurt myself because you can't play trumpet with giant cuts on the inside and the outside of your lip that don't
Right.
heal.
Right.
So I moved to Philadelphia to study with Dr. Donald S. Reinhardt, and he had a trombone in his studio, and he handed it to me. I played it. The mouthpiece went way below that area,
Mhm.
and it felt good. So the next thing I did was I got a bass trumpet. I sat in with a band in Philadelphia, and a guy named Larry McKenna. a great tenor sax player. He only died a couple of years ago from Philadelphia. He told the band leader, get this guy on a valve trombone and use him in the trombone section. So that's how I started playing valve trombone.
Oh, was it
Yeah.
hard to do the switch over from trumpet to trombone?
What was hard was I had never had to read bass clef, and in order to function in the trombone sections, I needed to read bass clef.
Oh,
So that was the hard part. And it's funny because trombone players, when a trombone player compliments a great trombone player, says, "Man, that guy plays so clean, it sounds like a valve trombone." And then you show up in a trombone section with a valve trombone, they say, "Oh, that just doesn't blend in the section. You sound much better on trumpet." I mean, that's what I got. That may not be universal, but that's what I got. So. It was, and all the trumpet players, they said, "Oh man, you sound so good on valve trombone. You need to stay on that." And all the trombone players said, "Oh, you need to go back to trumpet. You sound much better on that." I know, man. That's the story of my life. Never in the right place at the right time.
well, you did get a chance to perfect your perfect your skill with both. So you've been doing this for how long? Ever since you started the trombone, and then when you got your gigs, did you and your mouth eventually healed, right? After it healed, then you could get back to a little trombone. I mean trumpet again, or you don't do trumpet much.
Well, so it was in '81 when I had to stop playing
Yes.
trumpet,
Yes.
and I started playing bass trumpet and valve trombone. And then in '95, I I tried going back to trumpet several times, and I kept breaking open the
Yes. Yes.
yeah, because it was tender. And
Mhm.
so finally, what I did was I played one note on trumpet, put it down. The next day, I played two notes on trumpet, put it down. The third day, I played three notes on trumpet, and gradually, I was able to play more and more trumpet. And then the cool thing was I was able to play trumpet or trombone, and I could play them both on the same gig. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, do you know if other trumpet players have the same problem, right? It's easy to get that problem when where it's injured, right?
Well, I
That problem you
remember
have.
I'm 70 years old. I remember when Al Hurt, they threw a brick at him during the Mardi Gras parade, and
Oh,
he had to switch to valve trombone for a while, and then he got his trumpet playing back. And I know Thad Jones, I think he had some kind of embouchure injury, and he went to valve trombone for a while. So it's not uncommon.
mhm.
Who's the guy that wrote uh, what's this? The Shadow of Your Smile, Johnny Mandel.
Oh,
He was a trumpet player, and he had embouchure problems, and he switched to trombone, but then he came back to trumpet.
oh.
So yeah, it's happened more than once. I'm not the only guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why did you name your that album Conspiracy?
Oh, that one?
Yes.
Okay, so there was one tune on there. Oh, the tune's Conspiracy.
Hmm.
Um, I sort of made a joke about how if you listen to the bass line, that's the truth. And if you listen to everybody else, they're trying to throw you off, and that's the conspiracy.
Oh,
So
oh.
just kind of an inside joke or a stupid joke. It really didn't make any sense. Most of my titles are just for fun. They don't really mean anything, in
Yeah,
case you're wondering.
I was because at first I saw Conspiracy, I saw many good reviews about it, and then I thought it was dark, but when I listened to it, there wasn't anything dark about it at all. It was very peppy and happy.
Well,
So,
thank you. Thank you.
okay, what about your current album, Laid Back? Why did you name it that? Are you laid back?
Uh, that's a funny question. I don't think anybody ever asked me that. Um, so I wrote this one tune and it was kind of a reggae feel, and it wasn't fast, it wasn't slow, it was just kind of laid back, and it just felt good,
Mm,
and uh, and then I decided well, that's what I named the tune, and then I've written so many tunes, man. I'm working on getting more. I have more. Okay, there's Laid Back Volume 1 and Volume 2, so there's another volume coming out in November. But I have another batch of tunes that we're going to record next January, and it'll be enough for two albums also. But anyway, so I decided to put together all or as many of my tunes as I could that sort of fit in that same kind of groove, just not too fast, not too slow, just to feel good. I don't I'm not into educating people. my job is not to educate people. My job is to play something that can communicate with people, tell a story, take them on a little journey. By the time the tune is over, they might feel good that they actually went somewhere that they enjoyed with the music. So that's kind of my mission.
You're you're catering to the music tourist.
Maybe. Uh, I have relatives who say, I don't understand jazz. Nobody ever says, I don't understand classical. Somebody just said that to me recently, and I agree. Uh, there's nothing to understand about jazz unless it's just too weird. So, yeah, I'm not into weird jazz. I like jazz that has chord changes, a melody, improvisations that don't go into outer space. A little bit of outer space is cool, but when they go there and stay there and you never come back, that's what I'm talking about. I like to go on a little journey.
Mhm.
To me, music is supposed to take you on this little journey. So that's kind of where I like melodies. I played trumpet all my life. Trumpet is a melody instrument. So to me, the melody is extremely important. There's uh there's a I mean, even Charlie Parker, he did tunes that didn't have a melody. They just started improvising right away. But
Oh.
I think the melody is very important. So to me, that's the number one thing, a good melody with a good chord progression that is interesting for the listener as well as the improviser.
Mm.
That
What
was
is
a lot.
what is the difference between melody on a trumpet and let's say melody on a piano?
Well, when a trumpet plays a melody, it can be very commanding. Trumpet was used to herald trumpets for kings. They played for kings, or the bugle in the military, the call to arms or whatever.
Mhm.
Trumpet can be a very powerful instrument. Piano can be very powerful, but there's nothing that can play a melody. When a trumpet plays a melody, everybody hears it.
Um,
And if you make a mistake on a trumpet, everybody hears it. You can't hide.
have you ever made a mistake on the trumpet?
Oh, are you kidding? That's like 90% of what I do. That's how we learn, I think. Yeah.
But then sometimes the mistake might open some doors for you. It might reveal maybe a chord or something that you wouldn't have thought of before. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I remember when I first started improvising, I was talking to Larry McKenna and I said, I do pretty good until I hit a clam and then I sort of lock up. And and he said you're locking up because you know what you wanted to do. He says the people listening to you, they don't know what you intended. All they know is what you hear. So if you keep going, they're going to think you meant to do that. And he also said just play the way you play. Don't try to play like anybody else. That was important for me to hear too.
Mm.
So yeah, and uh, he also said the guys who are out there doing it every night of the year or every night of the week or whatever, they make more mistakes than anybody because they're playing more than anybody. He said, so go make mistakes and don't worry about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when they do make mistakes, is it that they're just like half asleep and just playing, or what causes the mistake? They should be so familiar with what they're doing already. What happens when they make a mistake?
Oh, okay. So you ever heard of clarinet player? They're playing along and all of a sudden there's this giant squeak.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of
Oh.
the greatest Charlie Parker solos is it's on a tune called Ballade, and
Mhm.
he plays after I can't believe I'm not going to remember the guy's name. Is it Coleman Hawkins? I think it's Coleman Hawkins. And uh and the first note Charlie Parker plays is like this giant clam, and then everything after it is brilliant. And
Oh.
some people would say, no, that's not a clam. That's what he meant to do. Maybe he did. Who knows? Uh, early Miles, he would he missed a lot of notes, but it was the intention behind it. People heard what he intended to play. So yeah, it and if or they heard what they heard, but they didn't know what he intended to play. They heard what came out of his horn, and if you continue playing with confidence, people just kind of accept it. If you make a mistake and you go ah, and then you put the horn back up with a mean look on your face,
Mm.
everybody knows you make a mistake.
Mhm.
So if you just pretend it was the way you wanted it, then nobody cares.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. You said that also you have a lot of melodies that you want to uh, share. And then, so where do these melodies come from? Do you intentionally uh, create them, or do they come to you and then you have to scramble to get them down, record them, or write them down?
There have been a few times when I've awakened with a melody in my head, and I've tried to remember it long enough to get to some manuscript paper or a piano, and and make it indelible in my head.
Mhm.
And very often when a melody comes first, then I have to find chords that make sense with it. Most of the time, I mess around with chords, and I'll find a chord progression that part of it, maybe four measures is working, and excuse me, and then a melody just sort of appears in my head. Now, I also edit a lot. I I just wrote a tune maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I like the chords, but man, it was hard to write a melody over it, and I just kept playing the chords over and over and over and over, and I must have edited the melody probably 20 times, easily 20 times. Yeah, because now I store everything on the computer and I name everything Rev 1, Rev 2, Rev 3. Yeah, and it got up to I think Rev 18. I can't remember. But yeah, I do edit what I do. You know, a long time ago I realized the first thing I write isn't necessarily, a keeper. I might be able to make it better. Now, when you're playing, what you play, you're stuck with that, right? On a gig, you're stuck with that. So there's a difference between writing a melody and playing melodically as you're improvising. I think I use a lot of care when I construct the melody. So I hope somebody appreciates some of my melodies. I think some of them are pretty cool.
I do like the album. What about the melody? Is that the more like the what you mean by the story? The
Yeah,
melody is.
yeah, yeah. That's where the story starts.
Mhm.
That's where the story starts, is with the melody. The
And
the the framework of the rhythm section, uh it's the setting. Yeah, the rhythm section kind of provides the setting. The melody and the chords go together, and then when they improvise, when the musicians improvise, it it's just, the when you have great players like I was able to get, uh it's just all it's kind of seamless. It all I can't even describe it. Yeah, yeah,
I think I
right.
could. Yeah, I think I could. It kind of sounds like a novel. There's a setting, and then there's chapters, and then everything is seamless and comes together.
Wow. Very good. Better than I can do. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what about the stories? Do you uh by story, do you mean like something you felt in your life, something that maybe an actual story, and you want the music to personify that actual story?
Okay, so here's an illustration for you. Everybody, okay, let's take a novel. I don't care what novel it is. If I read this novel, I'm going to be picturing in my head what they're describing in the book. You take 10 people reading the same novel, every single one of them is picturing something differently. So the reader is participating in the creative process. Okay. So in music, see, this is what I don't care for videos. I like just audio. Because if all you're hearing is the audio, you're creating a picture in your head. You're participating in the creative process, just like if you read a book. No two people are hearing the same thing. I kind of see images in my head. Uh, yeah, all I can say is you're sort of traveling to another place, and a good see if I can get it all. A good melody kind of is like this. It's a curve, and then when you get to the end, you realize, wow, that was cool. I really went somewhere, and now I'm back home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not that sophisticated, but I do have some opinions.
Oh, that is very sophisticated. You maybe did you ever think of this before? Ever like or you just like right now you're trying to describe it to me. Have you ever described it this way before?
Just recently I described it to somebody else, and I realized, you know what, that absolutely does make sense to me. Uh, It's like when they make a movie out of a book. everybody says the book was better, right? I mean, very often people will say, "Oh, the book was so much better than the movie." That's because they painted they painted their own scene in their head, and the movie you're locked into what they show on the screen, and it may be something completely different from what you read and what you imagine in the book. So, music videos, I'm sorry, I just ever since they started with, I'm uh well, I told you already, I'm 70 years old, so I got to watch music videos coming in. I guess they started a long time before. There's some ancient like movies. There's movies with Louis Armstrong and Art Tatum and the Dorseys, and I guess you could call that a music video. But you can still just listen to the music by itself, and you're not locked into these images that they put on the screen nowadays. Uh, they're not just showing. I don't know, man. It's a point of contention with me that people are locked into the visual rather than using their imagination and just listening to music. I guess maybe I'm old fashioned. Maybe I'm a fuddy duddy. Maybe I'm a curmudgeon. I don't know.
That does make a lot of sense because I've often had that viewpoint about the book being better than the movie, but that makes great sense what you said.
Well, thank you. I'm glad it made sense to somebody.
So you said that you have a couple of projects going right now, and uh, is it that you suddenly became very prolific? What was the turning point? Because in the beginning, of course, you did it right, but then what point in your career lit that creativity up to compose your own?
Well, I started writing music in 10th grade actually.
You did.
And yeah, but what I wrote was not it was not very informed. Uh the more music I listened to, the more artists I mean, I started listening to Stravinsky and Paul Hindemith, and I mean, I listened to Rimsky-Korsakov and Gershwin and Brahms and Bach and oh, I listened to all kinds of stuff. I loved Frank Zappa, by the way, and so I listened to all kinds of stuff. And over the years, playing jazz gigs, playing mostly jazz. Uh, I started realizing what I like to play and the kind of music that I would like to play and improvise on. So I started writing more music probably uh, maybe in the 80s. 80, yeah, I wrote a lot before then even, but in the last 10 years, I would say I've really been able to get a lot written. And part of it is if you don't write, sometimes that's good because it's sort of like you drew too much out of the well too often, and then you kind of let the well fill back up again, and then when you start writing again, a whole bunch comes pouring out. That has happened to me twice when I had shoulder surgery and I couldn't play.
Oh.
Yeah, so I wrote a ton of music, uh, like 50 tunes in a period of a couple months, which for me is a lot. Back in 2015. And then it happened again in 2019. I wrote a whole bunch, and then just in the last year or two, I've gotten really. I just It's part of my day is to write music now. So we're
Yeah.
going to do a session in January. Wally Minko is arranging 16 tunes, so we're going to have two CDs of 8 tunes or two recordings of 8 tunes that we're going to release again 6 months apart because I know program directors, they don't want you to put out too many. I discovered that in 2019. Yeah, I put out 2 albums too close together, and I bumped the first one off the charts too soon. Yeah.
So the all those tunes that you wrote in 2015 and 2019, did any of them show up recently? Did they carry into your current work? Maybe revisions of them, or were they already uh, appearing in your albums earlier?
Uh, Mostly conspiracy.
Oh,
Uh, my Down and Dirty big band album. They had a lot of those tunes.
oh.
Yeah, and
So
those were 2019.
okay. What about writing versus playing? Do you have any preference now? Has it changed? Do you like writing more now? Since it seems that you really love writing.
Well, I like to play. Uh, I have, okay, in 2024, in September, I was living in Asheville, North Carolina. I had lived there since 2002. I left New York City after 9/11 happened.
Mhm.
So I had kind of gotten established in Asheville, North Carolina. Well, that Hurricane Helene hit, and my place was totally submerged. I mean, the river went over the roof of my place.
Oh,
And yeah, the building next to me washed into the river, and the building, a couple buildings down, they pulled dead bodies out of there. So I lived, so I'm totally grateful. But so I moved to the middle of the state of North Carolina, thinking that I was going to get some work over there, and it didn't exactly pan out. I kept getting called to go back to Asheville, which was by that time it was about a 2-hour drive, and I was playing mostly tuba gigs, which is fine. I love playing tuba. Uh, so a friend of mine in the DC area encouraged me to move up this way. So now I'm living in West Virginia, close to Winchester, Virginia. And yeah, I have not like tried to barge in on the jazz scene here. I like to take it slow. If somebody wants to call me for a gig, I'll go play a gig and hopefully turn in a good performance. But I'm not going to go try to scoop people's gigs out from under them. I'm not that guy. So
right.
yeah, it'll take some time. But yeah, right now I'm practicing every day and I'm writing and life is good. I made some good economic financial investment decisions and I don't absolutely have to work if I don't want to. So yeah, in fact, uh, when we're done here, I have to listen to the final mixes for Laid Back Volume 2 and send the notes to Kerry Deadman, my producer. So
Mhm.
he's tomorrow he's working on that, and then Monday they're going to do the final mix. And yeah, so I'm looking forward. I'm just going to keep writing, keep recording. I enjoy the recording process. It's really that is very gratifying to me, especially when you get great players. John Swana,
Mhm.
that guy is preposterous. He is such a giant. And we got Steve Duncan, who I played with on the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, great trombone player.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, I need to put on my glasses so I can read because I'll mess up the names trying to do everything by memory. Uh, Jim Gallaretto, man, on flute and soprano sax and alto sax. I mean, these guys are such pros. Jeff Bradfield on tenor sax. Paul Mutzabaugh. Yeah, that guy, piano and organ. Wow, he's a wizard. Chuck Webb is just a ridiculously great bass player. I could listen to only the bass on these albums and be satisfied. Chuck Webb is so good. Felton Offord on electric and acoustic guitar. Charles Heath on drums. Good grief, man, that guy is a giant. Well, all these guys are. And then Rich Trelease added some percussion tracks. And then my producer, who was my college roommate at North Texas, Kerry Deadman, he added some couple of trumpet parts, like the high trumpet. Which I don't play real high notes, so yeah, every a couple of times you get wow, high trumpet.
Mhm.
So anyway, I enjoyed this whole session. Jim Massoff is a great engineer. We just had a ball making this recording, and we had a ball doing the mixing. We just have a great time. Kerry Deadman and I, we go back, and when he and I get together, it's we just each we both get so tickled. We end up laughing so much. We have all these private jokes. I mean, we laugh ourselves into tears. We have such a good time. But yeah, and John Swana, I tell you what. Uh, all right, so I'm watching the spins of this album on the various radio stations.
Yes.
And it would appear that there are program directors who have a bias against electronic instruments because there's two tunes on here that he doesn't solo on, and they're getting played sometimes. They're the only ones getting played on certain stations. And I'm thinking, come on, you guys, what he does is basically impossible. I am learning how to play the EV, the electronic valve instrument.
Yes.
It is absolutely a valid instrument, and it is hard to play well. And he does stuff on it that's impossible. So people think it's the EWI or they think it's a synthesizer, a piano. No, man, he's doing it like a trumpet player, three valves. So what he does is just brilliant. So I would urge program directors to think twice, man. Give John Swan a chance. What he does is absolutely brilliant.
Are you talking about the triple play and hip slick and cool?
No, he doesn't solo on uh Relax and Take It Easy or That's My Little Girl. He
Oh,
solos on everything else. Yeah, John is on everything else.
ah,
Yeah.
wow.
So, yeah. He is absolutely a giant. All right, so here's a little known fact.
Yes.
In 1992, I did a recording session. I used John Swana, uh, Chris Potter, who nobody knew at the time. Some people knew who he was. I should say a lot of people knew who he was, and Claudio Roditi on trumpet. So uh, John had never met Chris, so he worked with Chris on that recording session. And then Chris Potter's first Crisscross album, they hired John Swanner to play with them. So I actually was the guy who introduced the two. So I'm a little proud of that. But I usually don't talk about it because people think I'm bragging, which I'm not. I'm amazed that I had such good fortune to play with those guys. Even all that. How many years was that? 34 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So that's kind of cool. All right, enough out of me.
that's really nice. What about that shoulder injury that you were telling me about? Was that like a life accident or was that from playing the trumpet or trombone?
Well, it was rotator cuff injuries.
Ah,
Uh, I had a bad accident when I was in the army, and I didn't know that I had done damage.
oh,
And so later, when I was trying to get back into shape, I was a swimmer as a kid. I started getting into swimming, and I noticed that my shoulder was hurting really bad, and I just kept swimming, thinking it would go away. Yeah, like I said, I'm a big dummy, and so. Yeah, it got worse and worse. So finally, I went and they did the MRI or whatever you call it, and it was a CAT scan, I guess, and I had a torn rotator cuff.
gosh.
So and it happened twice because I didn't properly do the all the rehab, so I had to have it redone in 2019. And yeah, trumpet playing, especially bass trumpet, because it's so heavy,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, exacerbated the rotator cuff injury or torn rotator cuff.
Wow.
So the second time I was much more diligent with the
Mm.
rehab. I followed their directions substantially better. So yeah, my shoulders, I can play trumpet all day now. Well,
Oh.
I don't, but I could probably if I had to.
Mhm. So do you do warm-ups when you play or
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. In fact, I call it laying a foundation. I do 3 sessions before I even think about playing melodies or music. I do. It's kind of like the football players. They're out there, they're doing their push-ups and their pull-ups and they're running through tires and all that stuff. Nobody pays to watch them do that, but they do all that stuff so they play the football game better. So yeah, I do a lot of calisthenics on a trumpet. I mean, I never had natural chops on trumpet, so I have to work really hard for anything that I'm able to play. So I end up doing a lot of calisthenics, and yeah, it serves me pretty well. By the end of the day, I'm feeling pretty darn good most of the time.
Good. What about
Yeah,
at the end? When people exercise, they have to cool down or warm down. What about when you're playing the trumpet? Do you have to when you're done, do you have to
yeah,
like uh
I do that. I play some soft low notes, and that's my cool down.
oh
Yeah,
so
you
how
have to do that with voice, right?
no, I should, I guess. I'll ask my teacher that because no, I never learned that. I always
No?
heard about the warm-ups, but it never
Yeah,
occurred to me that there are the what do you call them? Warm downs or cool downs?
I call it cooling down.
Cooling down.
Yeah, yeah. I sang in chorus as a kid,
Mhm.
ma me me mo moo, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Or ma me me mo moo, ma me moo. But I always sang tenor, but I wish that I could have sung bass because I love bass. Oh, by the way, you know what you call a soprano who can sight read?
Uh, is that supposed to be a riddle?
An alto. Yeah, it's a joke, yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
I
no
think it's funny.
problem.
Okay.
Okay, so when you cool down, let's say it's interesting. If you don't cool down, what happens? Does the Could you get injured, or does it feel better that you cool down? Why do the cool down? In exercise, I kind of understand, but what about when you're playing that instrument?
The way my teacher explained it to me is it's sort of like muscle memory. My
Oh,
embouchure remembers if I completely crush my face and put the horn away, my face remembers that crushed feeling.
oh,
If I put it down after when I actually feel good, then when I pick it back up again, my chops remember that fresh feeling.
wow.
So yeah, he always encouraged me to put it down before I hurt myself, which for me is hard. I tend to overdo everything.
Yeah,
I
you get
know.
into the mood. Yeah, you get into the mood and just keep on going.
Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. That's kind of the motto of my life. Yeah.
If our listeners want to learn more about you, Rich Willey, where should they go? And to get your music as well.
Okay, well, I have a website. It's Boptism, Boptism, boptism.com. And the store, there's a page in the store for CDs. I think it's CDs and or digital downloads. So everything I've done is available as a digital download now. On a couple of the digital downloads, the very first thing is a link to spinny.com where you can order actual CDs. But yeah, I stopped selling CDs myself a while back. So they do have CDs at Spinny of uh, well, this album, Laid Back, Volume One, and I think Down and Dirty, the big band album. Do you have that one?
No, not Down and Dirty. I do have Laid Back, of course. Volume
Okay.
one.
And you said you had Conspiracy, right?
I didn't. No, I actually watched it on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. For a long time, I thought that was a much better album. Everybody
Oh,
told me they thought the big band album was great, but but they both have their Gordon Goodwin. He just died not too long ago, but he wrote I guess five arrangements that are on that big band album. So I feel really lucky, really, that's a special thing that I was able to get him to write me some charts for the big band.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
One more question I forgot to ask. Why baptism? Is that a play on words of baptism?
Absolutely. I was living in Philadelphia. I was watching the TV. I watched TV back then. I don't anymore. And there was a demonstration in the street, and all these people were singing "Amazing Grace." And I sat down at the piano and I cooked up some jazzy chord changes for it. And then later I wrote a melody over it. And I thought, if I'm going to use this as a tune on a gig, it should have some kind of a spiritual connotation. So I was listening to Hank Mobley. He had a sound called a Baptist beat. And I'm thinking, not no. And then I'm thinking Baptist. And then all of a sudden baptism just came to me. So yeah, I named a tune Boptism. Then the next thing you know, that's basically my brand, my music company, my website, Boptism.
Wow. Is
Yeah.
baptism on an album or is it a single?
Uh, I recorded it at Rudy Van Gelder's studio in 1987 with Dennis Irwin, John Coliani, Jay Cumming, Chris Backus, Vinnie Cutro, and me, and it never got released.
Oh, I was going to try to look for it and listen to it. Oh,
Nope, you can't. Nope, nope. I might do it again at some point.
yes,
It's
please.
yeah, it's just like a bebop melody. Yeah, yeah. 16 bars,
Hmm.
nothing special,
Well, I think
but
it's
it's
very special
fun.
to you. Yes.
Yeah, it's upbeat. It's kind of fun.
I would love to listen to it.
Well, all right. Send me your email address. Oh, I have it. I'll,
Yes.
I'll see if I can find it. If I can
Thank
find it,
you.
I'll send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
You
Okay.
know, everything has changed. I don't have the a reel to reel anymore. I know I have it on a reel to reel tape.
Mhm.
So I'll see if I can find it on some. I still have a cassette player. Do you believe that? Do you have
I
a cassette
do.
player? I
Yes.
don't have any 8 tracks. I still have a DAT machine. I know that's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So, I know I talk way too much, but
No.
you're a lot of fun.
Oh,
You're a lot of fun.
you too. Thank you so much for all the insight and into your artistry, your creativity, and your music. Thank
Well,
you so much.
thank you, Miss DJ.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate the opportunity. Very grateful to you.
Likewise. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. God bless.
God bless.